I want to go over today that help us identify these whys. I want you to ask yourself, what do I cry about? You know, for me personally, it is my family. I grew up in a statistical, stereotypical, broken home situation. I was 6 years old learning how to cook dinners for myself. I grew up fast because I had to. But what that taught me in that moment is the number one thing that I want my life to be known for is that to somebody, I was an amazing husband, and to somebody else, I was an amazing father. Also, what do you sing about? What kind of praise comes from your life? What provokes that? And lastly, what do you dream about?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are day 5 of 7, and I'm so excited to be here with you all this afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Let me just make sure that we are live and looking good with everything here. I think we are. Do me a favor as you're coming into my Facebook friends and to my Instagram friends, and just do me a favor and let me know that you can hear and see me okay. I'd love the opportunity to greet you this afternoon. So I hope everybody is doing well. I hope your day is going fantastic. I hope you had a great Good Friday. Today is Saturday, and tomorrow we have the awesome opportunity to celebrate Resurrection Sunday and have Easter dinner with our families and friends and whatever else that you have on the agenda that's planned for tomorrow. Certainly, hopefully it is going to be a great time of just letting your hair down and reflecting on just the season of gratitude. You know, we say that quite often around Thanksgiving. We say that quite often around Christmas. But when we look at the basis of why we are celebrating what we are celebrating for this weekend, it really provokes a culture of gratitude. So I want to encourage you today that as you're watching this, whether you're live, replay, Facebook, Instagram, that you just take the time today and just really reflect on what you are grateful for. What is your pillars of gratitude, right? What is the things that, you know, when you wake up in the morning are anchors to you, regardless of the kind of day that you have, I think that's important just to keep those things into perspective. So as you're joining me, welcome again to all of the Instagram and all of the Facebook family. I see Beatrice on here. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody else whose names I'm missing as they're coming in, I'm monitoring several different things, so I have the opportunity at least to say hello if they do not comment. But I want to just say hello. I hope you are doing well. We are in the middle of our 7 days to D.E.F.I.N.E.D. Several days ago, we launched the official announcement of becoming a D.E.F.I.N.E.D. coach and what that means and the definition of define and all of that fun stuff. And I want to encourage everybody. Hey, I see my mama, Phyllis Hill, on here. Good afternoon to you, and God bless you. So good to have you. Many people have inquired about what defined coaching was and this, that, and the other, and it is a partnership that I have the awesome privilege of being a part of to offer a variety of exclusive group coaching, leadership style, real estate, office, whatever, ministry related sessions, along with one-on-one coaching opportunities that offer an extensive amount of chance to kind of speak to different areas of people's lives and their businesses. And so what I devised a 7-day, spelling out the word defined, an acronym, D.E.F.I.N.E.D, of the 7 what we consider mission critical attributes to really live in a defined life. And one of the biggest things that we coach and teach here is how do we bring life into definition, right? We are responsible for this life. We are stewards of this life. So therefore, that means that we define this life. We define the life, we define the business, we define our finish. And that's what we coach and train a lot here at D.E.F.I.N.E.D coaching. And so part of those things that as I just kind of did some research, did some study, and did some inner reflection of a personal experience, and developed this 7 days to define 7 main mission critical elements that if we take and apply to our life and to our business, that they are going to bring definition to areas that we really, really need definition in. 2024 for us has to be a year of clarity. We have to be able to hit the bullseye. We have to be able to hit the target head on with our goals, our dreams, and our aspirations. And so these 7 things that we are going over are going to help us to do that. Now, we started with the letter D in defined, and we talked about actual definition. Like, what is the definition of definition? How do we cultivate that? How do we apply that once we have discovered it? And then we went into empathy, how to take the empathetic advantage to bring that level of clarity to our life and to our businesses. And then we talked about faith and how important it is to have that as a fundamental element to what it is that we do. We then talked about integrity, which is one of the utmost important things. And now today we are moving on to noble. Noble being one of the main attributes to really bringing definition to our life and to our business. And so I want to talk to you today for a little bit about nobility and how to use that to elevate humanity through virtue and purpose. Okay. And so, how to use that to elevate humanity through virtue and purpose. So, today is day number 5, D.E.F.I.N. Yeah, day number 5. I think I said that already, of 7, where we are going into noble, how to use a noble advantage, how to cultivate nobility. Now, here's the thing: tomorrow for Resurrection Sunday, we will not be on here live. Okay. And so I'm privileged to have both a preaching assignment and both a participation assignment from a covenant church and at my home church. So I'm encouraging you all to just get in a building in the morning and just really worship for what we are grateful for. And in my faith and in my beliefs, it certainly is Jesus Christ. And for many of you all that are watching, I'm sure it is as well. And so I would encourage you to stay in a position. So in honor of that, we will not be on live tomorrow, but we will pick up with Monday, where we are going to be talking about um, um, the last two, well, Monday and Tuesday, rather, we are going to be talking about the last two elements that are involved in this. Okay. But for today, we're talking about noble, using nobility to elevate humanity through virtue and purpose. Okay. So one of the biggest things, obviously, that we kind of, if you notice the pattern that we've been doing for these last 5 days, is we've been talking about bringing definition and clarity of what it is that we're speaking of, how to cultivate that. And then once that has been cultivated, how to really apply that to our life and to our business. So to do that, we have to really understand what nobility specifically is. Okay. And so as we talk about defining nobility, nobility is really the demonstration of moral excellence and virtuous behavior. Okay. Nobility is the demonstration of moral excellence and virtuous behavior. Nobility is acting with dignity, honor, and compassion towards others. Okay. Now, I think what's important to understand is moral excellence and virtuous behavior. Now, why are we talking about these type of things? Aristotle has a very powerful quote about excellence and how excellence is a choice, therefore making it a habit, right? And so we have to develop a moral habit. We have to develop excellence, moral excellence in a habitual pattern that produces a virtuous behavior so that we can operate in dignity, we can operate in honor, we can operate in compassion in all of the dealings to which that we are participating in, whether it is ministerial related or family or friends or our business or our clientele, right? And so bringing that understanding. Hey, good afternoon, Taniki. So good to have you on here, my sister. God bless you. Thank you so much for saying hello. Trying to catch names that are coming in Instagram and Facebook. And so if I miss you, I apologize, but make sure you get a chance to just go ahead and share something in the comments so I have the opportunity and honor to greet you and say hello to you. And do me a favor as well and share this video if you all don't mind, because we're going to be diving into some important things today that I think are very, very fundamental to where 2024 is going to bring us for our levels of success. Okay. So defining nobility. So now that we brought definition to nobility, let's talk a little bit about the characteristics of what it means to be noble. Yesterday, we talked about integrity. Integrity is absolutely one of the characteristics to being noble. That means that we are upholding principles and values with, watch this, unwavering commitment. And one of the biggest issues that we have in humanity is commitment. One of the biggest downfalls that we have as humanity is commitment. We find it difficult a lot of times to commit to certain things, especially when they are the things that we need to do, but really don't want to do. I said this several days ago, and Dusty Oglesby, who's the founder of D.E.F.I.N.E D coaching, says this very powerfully in the rooms that we're involved in. He says, there's one main thing that separates high achievers from those that don't achieve as high, and that is that high achievers do the things they don't want to do when they don't want to do it. Okay. And so integrity, by way of a characteristic of nobility, means that we are upholding principles and values with unwavering commitment. That means that sometimes we may not feel like we want to. That means sometimes we may not have the desire to, but we have to have the commitment to. We have to do the things that we don't want to do when we don't want to do them. The second characteristic of nobility is generosity. This is where we're sharing resources and talents, again, for the greater good. This is something that goes beyond you. This is something that is bigger than what it is that you do, what you have a heart to do, what your vision is, your life. And the reason being is this, and I'm not saying this because I'm not saying that you're not called to success. I'm not saying that you're not called to blessings. You absolutely 100% are. But you have to realize that level of success, that level of blessings and breakthrough and whatever you want to call in your life and your business is not just there for you. You are bigger than you. Okay. And I know we coach a lot in Define Coaching about you. What is inside of your circle? What is the things that you control? What are you responsible for? Right? Because people don't dictate you. People don't dictate your success. People don't dictate your future. Your market doesn't dictate your business. Right? And so all of these type of things mean that there's something inside of our circle that we are responsible for. Okay. Now, if we are responsible for things that are inside of our circle, that means our impact has to go beyond our circle where other people are. So one thing you have to realize today is that your life is bigger than you. Your why is bigger than you. Your blessings are bigger than you. Your success is bigger than you. It is designed not only to change your life, but everybody that is connected to you in some way, shape, or form. It is designed to impact theirs as well. And so there is a common good, right? There is something that goes beyond just you and your own personal ambitions and goals. And that's where generosity really comes in as a characteristic of nobility, because it is difficult to be generous when your pursuit is for your own good and not the greater good. Now, one thing that'll help with that is this third characteristic of nobility, which is humility, which again is another thing that we as humans struggle with at large, is how to be humble. Okay. Now, this means that we're recognizing our strengths and we're acknowledging others' contributions. But get this, watch this. This also means that we are recognizing our weaknesses. Okay. And when we recognize our weaknesses, that means that we are doing one of two things. Either we are strengthening that because they're in need, it's a need of it, right? Or we are gaining assistance in those areas of our weakness. All right, so characteristics of nobility: integrity, generosity, humility. Let's talk about how to cultivate being noble. Let's talk about how to cultivate nobility. Okay. Number one, we have to today start to embrace virtuous principles. Okay. That means reflecting on noble qualities such as courage, compassion, justice, morality, right? The things that are just right overall. Striving for self-improvement and moral growth is a huge thing in embracing a virtuous principle. If the moment that we feel that we have made it, we have arrived, and we are no longer responsible for growth and cultivating ourselves into a greater version of ourselves, right? Because for whatever reason, we've lost moral growth. We've lost self-improvement. And when we've lost self-improvement and we've lost moral growth, when times change and they require a level of maturity, we are not in a position where we can step up to the plate. And we fall behind in life. Okay? So we have to embrace virtuous principles. The second attribute to cultivating nobility is to practice empathy and compassion. Keyword: practice. To practice empathy and compassion. That means that you are strategically putting oneself in others' shoes and acting with kindness and understanding. We coach and teach all the time about coming from contribution, come from curiosity. For all of my ministry connections, scripturally, we seek first to understand, right? We practice empathy and compassion by way of those methods. We also extend help and support to those that are in need of genuine empathy. That means that not only do we just practice it in word, but we practice it in deed. Okay. Now, yesterday, as part of integrity, one of the biggest things we talked about is the balance between word and action. We talked about how back in the day, it used to be like the thing to shake a hand and give your word because that was gold or just as strong as a signed contract. But when lack of integrity came in the process, that went out the window. right? And so now we got to do our dealings contractually and legally, and making sure that we are, up to snuff and up to speed, and that our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and we're not going to leave ourselves in a very peculiar situation that we do not want to be in because we lost integrity along the way. So integrity really means, and that's part of being noble. Integrity is part of being noble, which means that we've got to be balanced in word and in action. Okay. So if I'm practicing empathy and genuine compassion, then I also have to practice it in both. Hey, how are you doing? What is it that you need? Okay, you need this. Let me bring the solution to the table. Okay. Now, in ministry, we operate in that all day long. In business, that sometimes is a lost art with our client relations. For those of my real estate people that are watching today, we know what that's like. We try to cultivate a relationship with a potential buyer or seller. And in doing that, we discover what they need, discover what their motivation and such is, right? But then we don't bring the solution for what they're looking to accomplish to the table. So we've got to practice that in action. We got to practice that in actually doing. Okay. The third thing for cultivating nobility is leading with integrity and grace. Leading with integrity and grace. This means setting high standards. Let me pause right there. Setting high ethical standards, because sometimes standards can be standards. And they may not always be the right standards. They may not always be the most ethical standards, but there's certain standards. So we have to practice setting high ethical standards and then leading by example. We also have to lead with integrity and grace by handling challenges and conflicts with dignity and respect. Okay. Now, these are just some things that we've got to practice as a habitual pattern, right? We've got to get into just the mode and the mindset and the mentality of doing it this particular way if we're trying to operate in being noble, if we're trying to cultivate nobility, if we're trying to bring effective solutions to the table. Okay. So, again, just a quick recap. Okay. Understanding nobility means that we are defining nobility. We're understanding the characteristics of nobility. What are the characteristics of nobility? Their integrity, generosity, and humility. Okay. Now we've got to cultivate nobility. So we do that by embracing virtuous principles. We do that by practicing empathy and compassion. And we do that by leading with integrity and grace. Now, in doing that, how do we take all of that now and apply it to life? How do we take being noble and applying it to our businesses? Okay. Number one, when discussing about how to take this and apply it to life, we do it by serving others. First and foremost, that means we are engaging in acts of service and philanthropy. We are uplifting communities in any way, shape, or form that we can, right? We're mentoring and empowering others to reach their full potential by way of these efforts. So let me give you an example, okay? Obviously, you all know me, right? And if you don't, I have a marketplace ministry assignment. I have a lot of work that I do in the ministry and church arena, and a lot of assignments in that space. I have a lot of assignments in the marketplace space. And so everything I do, I have to make sure that I'm pursuing it in noble efforts, right? So when I'm out there serving the communities and this, that, and the other, I know that it's a direct reflection of the additional leadership and ministry to which I represent and lead in, and the business to which my name is attached to. So I have to ask myself, if I'm doing this act of service to a degree that is going to reflect negatively on one of those two things, that I'm not serving others with grace. I'm not operating in nobility. Okay. The second thing is we have to advocate for justice and equality. Okay. Speaking up against injustice and certain discriminations, working towards creating a more equitable and inclusive society, and being open to loving without limitations. To the point, watch this, where change and transformation occur. Okay. We also have to inspire positive change. This is where we use our influence. This is where we use our platforms. This is where we use our abilities to promote these noble ideas and values and instill them by encouraging others to join in these endeavors for total impact. For total impact. All right. Let's talk a little bit about applying nobility in business and even in leadership. Number one, we have to have ethical leadership. That means leading with integrity, leading with honesty, leading with transparency. Y'all remember that. We've already been over that before because that's a very parallel attribute to a lot of the other topics that we've already discussed. We have to make decisions that prioritize the well-being of everybody. Okay. We have to create a culture of excellence. Okay. Now, again, I just said a few moments ago, excellence is not necessarily, is based on decision. Therefore, it really is rooted in a habitual pattern, right? If we're going to serve in excellence, we have to create the habit of excellence. So we do that by fostering an environment where these noble values are celebrated and upheld. Upheld means accountable, right? Which is why coaching is so important, because it gives you that layer of accountability to ensure that you're shifting in the right direction that you need to shift. Okay. We also apply nobility in our business by way of creating this culture of excellence, but recognizing and rewarding the acts of nobility and virtue among anybody that you serve and work with. That is from your clientele to your additional, coworkers, all of those type of things. Hey, Sister Mina, so good to have you on here today. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And the third thing, to taking nobility, okay, and adding it into applying it to our business, is we do this by building sustainable businesses, again, for the common good. If you all notice the generality here, if you notice the bloodline that we're dealing with here, it is for the common good. That means everything that we do, life, business, is for something greater, is for a greater good, is for a bigger cause, is for the fulfillment of our destiny, which is much larger than who we are, and for all those that we are assigned to impact and touch in this life. Okay. Now we do that by incorporating social responsibility and ethical practices into our operations. Okay. It is super, super important to understand that in this season of our life, in this season of our business, if we are going to set ourselves apart from anybody, competition, those that are in our market spaces that are coming up, if we're trying to maintain a certain percentage of our market share, whatever the situation is, right? The ethical practices into our business operations 100% not only have to be there, but they 100% have to be secure. They have to be noticed. They have to be part of your standards that you're upholding. Okay. The second part to building sustainable businesses for the common good is contributing to societal and environment causes for lasting impact. Everything that you put your hand to do in this season for life and business, you have to ask yourself, is this going to produce a lasting impact? Okay. If it is going to produce a lasting impact, it is worth the investment. If it's questionable, you got to assess it, assess the risks, assess the results, and make a determination if it is going to be worth you moving forward in those areas for those particular purposes and reasons. Okay. So real quick to kind of put a cap on this, we got to reinforce nobility as a pathway to personal fulfillment and societal progress. Okay. We have to encourage to embrace noble ideas and plant ourselves in them and those virtues daily in life and in leadership. Okay. So just a quick recap as we get ready to wrap up just for this afternoon. Again, we're talking about what does it mean to be noble? We're talking about nobility and using it to elevate humanity through virtue and purpose. We do this by understanding the characteristics of nobility, which is integrity, generosity, and humility. This is after we've understood what nobility really means. Okay. So we're using nobility to bring us into a higher realization that we are demonstrating moral excellence and virtuous behavior. So then we take that into cultivating nobility. We do that by embracing virtuous principles, practicing empathy and compassion, and leading with integrity and grace. And then we take that and we apply that into our life by serving others, advocating for justice and equality, inspiring positive change. I know this update on here for some reason, every time I'm on a live right now, I do something with my hands and there's something that pops up on the screen. So congratulations, I guess. We have balloons. And then applying that in our business, of course, means ethical leadership, creating a culture of excellence, and building sustainable businesses for the common good. Okay. So my call of action to you this afternoon as we get ready to conclude this time together is that whatever areas of our life and business, as we do an internal reflection today, okay, whatever areas in our life and business that we've identified that those attributes are missing, okay, that there are some integrity concerns, there are some virtuous behavior concerns, there are some patterns and behaviors of excellence concerns, then that is where we take on nobility, okay, and we practice it by way of moral excellence and virtuous behaviors in those spaces so that we can strengthen those spots. We can strengthen the foundation of those type of items, okay? So I'm trying to keep this to about 25 to 30 minutes daily here for you. So I'm about to conclude to my time. But again, if you are joining me for the first time today, I want to encourage you definitely go back. We are 5 days into 7 days to define, where we are taking 7 mission critical principles that spell out the word defined as an acronym. And we are doubling down on them to level up and elevate our business, to define our business, to define our life, to define our finish. Okay. And so we started with definition in itself. What is definition? How to cultivate and apply it. We then went to empathy, how to use the empathetic advantage. We talked about faith. Okay. We talked about integrity. And now today we're talking about nobility. Okay. So we are taking a break, like I mentioned in the beginning of this. If you are coming on today just for the first time, maybe you missed the announcement that we will not be on live tomorrow in reflection of Resurrection Sunday, as we will all be celebrating what this occasion means to us who believe in what has transpired between Good Friday and Sunday. And so I encourage you to embrace the moment. I encourage you to get into church. I encourage you to reflect on gratitude. I encourage you to take this time to celebrate. I encourage you to enjoy it with family. I encourage you to enjoy it with friends. I encourage you to be in the moment here as we celebrate what this weekend is. So we're off tomorrow in reflection of Resurrection Sunday, so we can celebrate Easter together and family and friends and all that fun stuff. And we will be back with the last 2 of 7 mission critical attributes of success for definition on Monday, and we will conclude that on Tuesday. Okay. So I hope something has been said today. I know today was a little bit more of a laid back, lower energy kind of teaching kind of a thing. But I thought that it was important to deal with the heaviness of the content as sober as possible for you all, so that we can really take something and make something happen. Okay. So I hope something was said, though, over the last almost 30 minutes that I've had with you here that has provoked you and inspired you to kind of like level up in those next layer ideas. I definitely would encourage you that if you want more information, please do me a favor, check out mylifedefined.com. We are booking free discovery calls for one-on-one opportunities. We are booking one-day defined sessions and market centers and real estate offices. I mean, all across the board. I'm telling you, we've got Keller Williams, EXP. We've had some other brand real estate offices that are calling us, and we're starting to get requests that are outside of real estate, and other ministry organizations and leadership organizations and other businesses and industries that are represented. So high level transformative information. I would encourage you to stay connected as we walk through this. Okay. But until then, it is Saturday. And I want you all to enjoy the day. I want you to enjoy your families. I want you to enjoy the moment. I want you to embrace gratitude. I want you to do everything that you need to do to become the best version of you. Remember, you define your life. You define your business. You define your finish. As my pastor says, and I'll leave you with this as I get ready to conclude, it is time to take life off of automatic and put it on manual. Take control today, and let's define our best days ahead of us. Have a blessed day, guys. We will see you Monday.